Hey guys, welcome to Drama Queen. I'm your host Shayla, and this is the beginning of my season for mental health. And I don't know exactly where tonight's gonna go because I don't have my notebook with my notes in it. I will just say that I promise you guys I'm gonna keep things real and raw and just be as blunt and honest as I possibly can be, keeping it an open book, and so everybody can feel safe and welcome, and you don't need to hide who you are, what you struggle with. We all have flaws. We all have something that we look at in the mirror every day that we wish we could change, no matter what it is. And I want my mental health episodes to be real, honest, and to help people cope or help people, get the help that they need and deserve, or, whatever it is, or just to feel comfort, just to listen and feel comfort in where you are in life. And, and I am a person that meets people where they're at, always. And I just feel like we just need more of that in our lives. And so this season I'm going to be talking about mental health in general, the stigma on mental health. Also, I will be talking about mental health before trauma, mental health after trauma, mental health from an abuser side of it, mental health on the victim side of it, and just mental health, right? Everything. And so, and a little bit, trauma is going to be another huge one. And so, trauma, let's just dig into trauma, because I feel like trauma is a huge thing, right? In everybody's life. And people struggle with just all different types of trauma. There's childhood trauma, abuse trauma, anything. The trauma is, we can't, you and I can go through the same situation, right? The same thing every day, okay? Say you were with me for the last 6.5 years, right? And I was in my abusive relationship. And just say you lived every day with me, right? You're not going to see things the way that I see them. And we're not going to have the same feelings about it, right? My traumas and your traumas are different. Okay, so the definition of trauma. So trauma is when we experience very stressful, frightening, or distressing events that are difficult to cope with or out of our control. It could be one incident or an ongoing event that happens over a long period of time. Most of us will experience an event in our lives that could be considered traumatic. So yeah, most of us probably have gone through something that was traumatic. Most of us definitely went through something that was traumatic. Because your trauma and my trauma, like I just said, are not going to be the same. So nobody can tell you, oh, really? That was not traumatic. Or you do not have PTSD from that. Or you are over-exaggerating. Or you're being dramatic. I love it. That's my favorite thing. That's why, people kind of get my podcast name confused, because they're like, oh, drama queen, thinking it's just drama. No, you guys. It's because when you tell people about your abuse, you tell people about your rape, you tell people about your childhood trauma, you tell people about anything in your goddamn life that was traumatic to you, and then you got people calling you dramatic. And so that's where drama queen came from, is because people fucking thought I was just a dude. I don't know. I don't even fucking care what people thought. Anyways. So anyways, let's see. Okay. So there are 3 main types of trauma: acute, chronic, or complex. Acute trauma results from a single incident. Okay? Chronic trauma is repeated and prolonged, such as domestic violence or abuse. Complex trauma is exposure to varied and multiple traumatic events, often of an invasive interpersonal nature. Look at it. Do I have trauma or am I overreacting? I just love Google. But anyways, if you can recall times when you've overreacted and perhaps have even been surprised at your own reactions, this may be a sign of trauma. It's not uncommon for people suffering from emotional trauma to have feelings of shame and self-blame. Yuck. I hate the world. See? No one type of trauma is worse than another. You can even experience the same type of trauma or even the same event as someone else and have different reactions to it. If someone hurts you, it hurts. And your natural emotional reaction is valid. It can be helpful to think about big T trauma and little t trauma. I think that's like my biggest pet peeve, honestly. My biggest pet peeve is when people just trying to one-up somebody on some shit. You know, like, your trauma is your trauma. Let me help you through your trauma. Let me be there for you. Like, I really try to be, you know, as a friend, as a whatever. And then, like, some people just, I don't know how to explain it. Like, oh, yours is not as bad as mine. Like, okay, you know, whatever. I literally just, like, stopped caring about what anybody thought. Yeah, like, I just don't even. I'm, like, sitting here just, like, scrolling, guys. I'm so sorry. Oh, my God, how boring of a podcast it would be if I'm just going to sit here and be obnoxious like that. Oh, my gosh. Okay, so you want to know what's so weird? Okay, so we're just going to talk about trauma. Looks like my first podcast of this season is going to be on trauma. So this is, like, the craziest shit. So as a kid, right? Like a child, you don't really remember much, right? I promise you don't. If you do, that's amazing. And I wish I had your memory skills because I literally can't even remember what I did yesterday. But anyways, when I was younger, I was like, let me think, like 8 maybe, I think. 8 or maybe even younger, 7, 8. I remember going to therapy. And this lady told me that I have abandonment issues. And it comes from me being a baby, like a baby, and getting taken away from my mother. And, you know, getting put up for adoption. My brain, because when a baby is in mom's womb, baby hears mom, smells mom, you know, attachment to mom. When baby's born, baby's usually put on mom's chest and skin to skin. Baby's, like, that's where the comfort is, right? And, like, babies know their mom. And so I guess when I was taken away as a baby, and I lost that sense of security and comfort, and then I have separation anxiety and abandonment issues. And that literally stems from me being a baby. So, like, there's shit in life that you went through when you were a baby or a child, and you might not remember it, but your brain does. And that shit's crazy to me. I'm just reading right now. Childhood amnesia is natural for most people. Many individuals cannot remember any events that took place before they were 2 or 3 years old. Some childhood experiences may make it more likely for people to forget early memories. People may also only remember specific fragments of their early experiences. This is so funny. So like, as a baby, my brain was traumatized. And I like grew up struggling. You know, I had behaviors and whatever, and I had a lot of childhood trauma, actually. And then, yeah, just growing up, like, you know, there's a lot of things that happen in my kid life that, you know, fuck. That, some people will only know the truth. Like, I went through some shit in my school age years, and, me and the person that, you know, me and the other person that were involved in any of the things, you know, like, I know the truth. They know the truth. And everybody is out here questioning. And, like, that's, like, another thing, like, where it's so irritating, too. Like, women or whoever, go through things. And then they want to talk about it. They want to get it off their chest. They want to whatever. And then people call them a liar and an attention seeker. And you know what I'm saying? And it's like, and then you got the person, the attacker, the abuser, the whatever, like, making up their whole story. Like, oh, she's such a fucking liar. And then now we just created a bunch of fucking people that just stuff what they go through, stuff what they feel, stuff what they whatever, and most likely turn into some type of addict of some sort. Hopefully not a drug addict like me, but yeah. And that is the sad fucking thing. Look at this, is all just clicking in my life right now. That this world wants you, like, they want to come off as like, oh, we need to talk about things. We need, you know, like, women need to come forward and, like, expose their rapists, or, you know what I'm saying? Or, like, you know what I'm saying? Any type of fucking situation that you go through, any type of traumatic situation, if you've been abused, sexually assaulted, fucking beaten, raped, shit, kidnapped, I don't know what you've been through. If you stubbed your toe, and I'm not even kidding. Like, if you stubbed your toe and that was traumatic, like, fuck, I don't know. I'm sorry. Like, I literally am not kidding. But anyways, like, and we are supposed to, like, our society wants to say, oh yeah, we care. But when any fucking woman or victim comes up and speaks, oh, there goes everybody. Fucking liar, fucking, you know, it's like, well, damn, okay, so now I'm not gonna tell anybody anything, and I'm gonna fucking deal with this by myself, and if you're anything like me, you're gonna turn to drugs. First self-harm, and then drugs. Because you want something, you know, you're trying to cope with the fucking pain. So, sad. But anyways, that was, like, totally off topic. I am reading this book, like I was saying earlier, and actually I'm not reading it. It's on my not my podcast. It's on my Audible, and I'm actually just gonna pull it up. It's The Body Keeps the Score, and let's see. Let's go to my library, and oops.
This was particularly true.
Sorry, guys.
If the abuser was someone close.
Let me see. I'm just trying to, like, okay, so, like, this is, it's so good so far. So, essential, so The Body Keeps the Score. So essential reading for anyone interested in understanding and treating traumatic stress and the scope of its impact on society. Pioneering researcher transforms our understanding of trauma and offers a bold new paradigm for healing in this New York Times bestseller. So trauma is a fact of life. Veterans and their families deal with painful aftermath of combat. 1 in 5 Americans have been molested. 1 in 4 grew up with alcoholics. 1 in 3 couples have engaged in physical violence. Dr. Bessel van der Kolk, one of the world's foremost experts on trauma, has spent more than 3 decades working with survivors in The Body Keeps the Score. He uses recent scientific advances to show how trauma literally reshapes both body and brain, compromising sufferers' capacities for pleasure, engagement, self-control, and trust. He explores innovative treatments from neurofeedback and meditation to sports, drama, and yoga that offer new paths to recovery by activating the brain's natural neuroplasticity. Based on Dr. Van der Kolk's own research and that of other leading specialists, The Body Keeps the Score exposes the tremendous power of our relationships both to hurt and to heal, and offers new hope from reclaiming lives. So, literally, you guys. Trauma is just a huge thing. And I was just thinking, like, it's actually funny because, you know, my son's 1 year that he was diagnosed with type 1 diabetes, like the day that he got diagnosed. You guys, like, that morning, I held him that whole morning. I was holding him and he was dead silent. And he was pale. And his eyes were sunken in. His eyes would not open. And, oh my God. And he was rapidly breathing, like, but really, really fast. And I called Children's Hospital because I wanted to, you know, see what they would say. And I called them and I was like, this is what's happening, like, blah, blah, blah. And she's like, let's count his respiration. So we counted and we didn't even get through it. And she's like, is he blue? And I was like, no. And she's like, okay. She's like, you need to get here now, like right now. Like, you need to get here now. And she's like, and if he stops breathing by the time you get in the vehicle to get here, call 911. And I lost my shit. My baby was 6 months old at the time, guys. And I literally, like, swooped him up. Not threw him, but, like, got him into the car seat super fast. And my ex, mind you, my ex was not around that whole weekend. And my son was sick that whole weekend, like, crying nonstop, puking, like, whatever. And I called at the time, you know, my boyfriend, but ex. I called him, I'm not lying, probably 800 times that weekend, and he did not answer one phone call. He came to the house right before I ran out the door with the baby, and he screamed at me for not being at the hospital sooner. And I literally flew to the hospital by myself, like, ran every red light, I flew. Got pulled up in the freaking ER, like, just pulled up. I didn't even park. And I sprinted my son inside and, like, they looked at him and grabbed him and ran to the back. And I was like, what's going on? What's going on? What's going on? And nobody could tell me. And they're all freaking out and they're all talking in their medical codes. And I'm like, what the fuck is happening? And I'm like, what is fucking happening? Like, I don't know. And I just remember the doctor looking at me and she's like, did he get into anything? And I was like, no. I was like, he can't even fucking crawl yet. Like, he can't get into anything. Like, I mean, his brother could have gave him something, but his brother wouldn't do that. Like, no, he didn't get into anything. And she's like, okay. And then Like, they're doing fucking every test. They're freaking stabbing him with whatever, Narcan and shit like that, dude. I don't know. And she looked at me and she's like, you need to prepare for the worst. Like, and I just stood there and, like, my world collapsed in that moment. And I just remember screaming at Levi, like, baby, you keep fighting. You fight. You fight. You get through this. I'm right here. Mom's right here. And we're going to fight this. You keep going. You do not give up on me. Like, I was just yelling at him. And the doctor's just like, it's okay, Mom. It's okay, Mom. And, like, and, dude, and I call his dad. And I'm like, he's not going to make it. And he's like, well, what am I supposed to do? Like, you're what he needs. You're there. He's got you. Like, he doesn't need anything else. Like, meh, meh, meh. No, he didn't need anybody else. He had a whole team of doctors. And I had no support. My stepdad did come up there, though, finally. Like, my stepdad made it pretty much during the middle of it all. And I'm forever grateful for that because, yeah. And then finally when they ran in and the doctor's like, we need to give insulin. And I'm like, what is happening? And then she pulled me out of the room and she's like, your son's diabetic, ma'am. He has type 1 diabetes. And I was like, is he gonna live? And she's like, if you would have gotten here like 10 minutes later than what I did, he wouldn't have. And she's like, but he is going to make it. 10 fucking minutes, bruh. DK is the most painful way to die. And I think that's what haunts me too, is like my son was in DK for like, I don't even know how long. And I didn't know. You know, like I didn't know. They said it was an ear infection. And it wasn't, obviously. And, you know, and it's not their fault because they don't look for type 1 in babies that age. He's the youngest in St. Paul, Minneapolis that was diagnosed that they have seen. And I couldn't hold him for like 4 days after. He just laid there in the fucking PICU bed. That shit was traumatic as fuck to me. I think it was standing there not being able to save my child. And literally just looking at him and he just looked dead. That, honestly, like, if you're a parent, you know, just the littlest scrape on your kid's knee, and you know what I'm saying, like, you feel that pain, like, those are your babies. And like, that shit was the most traumatic shit I went through in my life, like, by myself. Even though he's okay and he's healthy, like, ten minutes and it would have been a different outcome. And not even that, but like, just my baby, my happy mama's baby that couldn't tell me what was wrong. And I'm like, why are you screaming, crying? And he can't tell me. And he was dying. Like, huh? You know what I'm saying? Like, I think I blame myself a lot. I have a lot of guilt. I feel like I failed him. And I struggle with forgiving myself. And then every day I'm scared it's going to happen again. And every day I'm scared I'm going to fuck up. And every day I'm scared, like, I don't know, you guys. Like, a whole chunk of me left that day. And, you know, and I don't know. And so, like, today just, it makes me angry. Like, it makes me angry at my baby dad. It makes me angry at myself. It makes me angry at God. It makes me angry. Like, and it's fucking insanely traumatic. And, like, after that situation, like, after his diagnosis, like, my mental health crumbled really bad. Honestly, like, trauma brings, like, anxiety, depression. You know what I'm saying? It brings that shit out into you. And I struggle really, really bad with all of that. I struggle bad with depression and anxiety, and definitely anxiety. Anger, dude. I'm angry, like, and there's no, like, here, you know what I'm saying? Like, but anyways, my trauma in my life led me astray of, like, what you should, like, the best way to deal with trauma is, like, to get help, obviously. Talk to a trusted therapist, whatever, whoever, and, you know, like, take care of yourself. And I did the complete opposite. My traumas led me to self-harm. My traumas then led me to alcohol, then led me to drugs. And then just, like, you know what I'm saying? And then sobriety, then a relapse, and then sobriety, and then, like, and the only thing that keeps me sane right now is that I am the only person that knows how to take care of Levi. If anything happens to me, he wouldn't have anybody that knows how to take care of him the way mom does, you know? And, like, I'm grateful for that in a way, because, like, if it was any other way, I probably would have went off the deep end, honestly, on, like, hardcore drugs, like a hardcore relapse, like a hardcore gone, if, you know. And I can't and won't allow myself to do that, because my kids need me at the end of the day. But that's what it does, though, trauma, because we don't have a safe spot to go and talk to somebody, and we don't have support. We don't. People make fun of us, people laugh at us, people call us dramatic and liars and all this shit, and, like, we don't have any support, so we just sit there and drown. And then we start drinking, or we start using, or we self-inflicting pain, or we start working out way too much, or we start eating way too much, or we start just getting addicted, or shopping, anything, like casino, anything, like, we're just addicted to something, and it's to drown out the feeling that we just need to face head on. And it's so much easier said than done, because obviously, like, I'm sitting here struggling with fucking PTSD and hardcore mental health problems, and I know, though, like, there's a blessing in disguise behind everything I've gone through in the last, you know, couple years. And that blessing is I truly am proud of myself. Like, I am proud of what this pain and abuse and, like, and I don't know, like, if that's even, like, healthy to say, but, like, before this last, like, breakup with my ex, like, the years of abuse, I never stood up for myself anymore, and I lost myself completely. And I bent over backwards for somebody, and I was like this beaten down woman. And after my son got diagnosed, and then like my heart changed for like, I don't have time for this shit. I do not have time for my ex's bullshit at all. Like, I had my kid to worry about. I could care fucking less what he was doing. I didn't give a shit. And I don't know, like, but then, like, the abuse, like, this last, like, what, year and a half or so, of getting mentally abused, emotionally abused, physically abused, and cheated on, and I just remember, like, sitting there and, like, why am I getting treated like this? Like, I don't deserve this. Like, and the fucking stupid fucking game, and like, I literally thought at one point in my life, I was like, I cannot live without this man. I need him. Like, which is that's what they do though. Like, it's a narcissist thing. Like, they degrade the fuck. They lift you up. You feel like the queen, cloud 9, right? And then they degrade the fuck out of you. But then they lift you up again. And apologize. And it's just a fucking repetitive cycle. I am so proud of whatever it was. Whatever event took place. Whatever. I don't know exactly the day or the time, but I just know that, like, I am fucking proud of myself. And, like, I see the difference in myself. I see a different me. Like, a me that I literally thought I could not live without this fucking human being. Like, I really thought, like, I could not live without him. And I'm happy. Being single is honestly, like, and if for the people that know me, know that, like, Shayla has abandonment issues, and Shayla is clingy, and Shayla, like, can't be single, and, like, I literally can't be anything else other than single. Like, I'm learning myself again. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know who the fuck I am, and I don't know who I'm supposed to be, but, like, I am not worried about a fucking man, and if they're cheating on me, or if I don't fucking get out of my sweatpants, like, what fucking horrible things is he gonna say? Or, like, you know what I'm saying? Oh my god. Or getting told I'm fucking hated every day. I don't get to hear that shit no more. I don't have to deal with somebody coming home from a bad day and just taking it all out on me. And it feels so good to just learn to love yourself. And because life is so fucking goddamn short, you know? Who wants to die miserable? And I'm just so grateful, though, that finally something in my body, in my heart, in my head changed to where I love being alone. And I love working on myself. And I love going to the gym. Like, I love doing my hair, and I love doing my nails, and I love doing my makeup, and I love dressing up. And I love meeting new people. Like, it is such a good feeling. It is such a good feeling, and it's healing. And I was there, though. You know, when you think you can't live without them. You know, I know it's so weird that I told myself to, like, and I try to tell people this all the time, like, they're not dead, right? Like, take a break from them. Take a break. Go find something that you want to do, right? Go do something you want to do, and go do something for yourself, right? For once, right? And then and then if you find out that you fucking hate it and you're miserable as fuck and you miss them so much and like they're the best thing ever, right? Like, go back to them then. If you are not happier without them, go back. They're not dead. They're still here. They're still alive, right? Why keep staying? I don't know. And I can't answer that question for you. It's called a trauma bond, actually. And people just don't look into shit, you know? Everyone's like, why do you stay? Why did you stay so long? Or why do you put up with it? Fuck. I don't know. You know? And it's called a trauma bond, actually, which I'm going to give the definition here. Let's see. Oh my gosh, let's see. Okay. Google, what is a trauma bond? Right there. Okay. Trauma bonds are emotional bonds that arise from a cyclical pattern of abuse. A trauma bond occurs in an abusive relationship wherein the victim forms an emotional bond with the perpetrator. The concept was developed by a psychologist, Donald, whatever. Okay, so a trauma bond is when a person forms a deep emotional attachment with someone that causes them harm. It often develops from a repeated cycle of abuse and positive reinforcement. When this occurs between partners, this is a trauma bonded relationship. So, you know, ask any woman that's being abused, why do you stay? And they're going to list off like all these good things that he's said or done for her. Always happens. And that's just a trauma bond. And it sucks. And yeah. I don't know, guys. Trauma sucks. And everybody has their own trauma. And I feel like the society, like, we need to stop looking at mental health and traumatic events as nothing. You know what I'm saying? Like, as just nothing. Like, it's just nothing. Or, you know, like, victim blaming. That's what we need to stop doing. Like, she shouldn't have wore that skirt. Or she shouldn't have drank that many drinks. Like, fuck off. Fuck you. How about he just keeps his dick in his pants? Like, our society is honestly so disgusting. And now that I'm, like, out of a relationship and, like, I can just focus on life in general, like, I have realized that society is fucking disgusting. There are so many good people out in this world, and I'm not saying you know, it's not all bad, but, like, it is though. Like, it's bad. And yuck. Like, I'm raising my kids in this shit. Like, ugh. Like, I don't know. But yeah, I just feel like society does need to make a change though. Like, on mental health and trauma and all that shit in general. Like, because if somebody breaks a bone, everyone's like, oh my gosh, what happened? Like, how are you feeling? Do you need help? Like, you know what I'm saying? And like, but somebody that struggles with fucking depression or anxiety or whatever mental health problem they struggle with, right? Any mental shit, PTSD, whatever it is. And you say that to somebody, they're going to be like, ugh, that sucks. Like, why aren't we like, oh my gosh, like, are you okay? What can I do to help you? Can I help you? Can I give you resources? Like, can I... No, we're just like, we don't see it. It's not physical. It's mental. And I feel like we suck as humans. Like, we literally suck. Like, if we can't see it, then we don't believe it. You know what I'm saying? I mean, a lot of us. I mean, I believe it all. Like, I am there. I 100% support you. And I believe it. I believe everything anyone says because I cannot tell them how they feel, right? I cannot tell you that, yeah, okay, yeah, you're not depressed. No, I can't say that to somebody. That's like my biggest pet peeve when people are like, you're not depressed. Like, okay. And you don't have blonde hair. Like, what the fuck? But if it's not physical, we don't care. Like, we don't take it seriously. We don't check up on people. Like, mental health is a huge fucking thing. And mental health is scary as fuck when it's untreated and when you deal with it by yourself. And I know that. Like, trigger warning, I know that. I literally told my psychiatrist the first time I met her last summer, and I was like, I've never been so scared for myself. And she's like, what do you mean? And I was like, I am fearful that I am going to kill myself. And like, there's been times where I'm like, oh, I just want to kill myself. You know, or like, I just rather be dead. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, and like, that feeling is valid. Like, you know, like, there's sometimes when people feel like that. And that's valid as fuck. I'm not invalidating any of it, but anyways, but like for me, for instance, like, there's times where I would say things like that. And like, I really didn't want to be dead. Like, but like, I really was like, fuck, right? Well, no, last summer when I told my doctor this, like, and I told a couple people actually, and I really was being serious. And like, trigger warning all the way to the fuck up. Sorry, trigger warning. But like, I was being dead ass serious. I was like, I literally do not feel safe in my own body. I feel like I will kill myself. I feel like I'm going to snap and kill myself. Like, there was actually something in my fucking physical body, in my brain. Like, there was something really there that, like, I was scared of myself, you guys. Like, she took me seriously. Nobody else did, though. Like, nobody else did. Like, I was like, all right, y'all. Like, I fucking warned y'all. And it wasn't, like, it was something I literally couldn't control. Like, my rage. Like, when I got put on those meds and I became, like, 10 times fucking insanely angry. Like, that was something I literally could not control. Like, I literally was raging angry for no fucking reason. Like, I literally could not control, like, something, and it just was something in my brain. And I'm not lying. Like, so, like, mental health is fucking serious. Somebody talking about suicide, I don't care if they've cried wolf 50 fucking million times. I will always take that seriously. Because I can't tell you what your fucking head's going through. And I can't tell you what you're going through. Nobody can tell us what we're going through. Nobody can tell us what we feel, like, nobody can. Our brains are fucking so powerful. Our brains are so fucking powerful. I just said in the beginning of this podcast, what? Childhood trauma. Like, I have trauma from when I was a fucking baby, like, a couple months old. So, like, our brains are fucking powerful. And my mental health was so bad that my brain literally, like, was ready to, like, kill myself. Like, I'm not, like, it's insane. Like, mental health needs to be a bigger thing. It needs to be more serious. Like, we need to be more serious about it. It's not a joke. I don't think it's a joke, and I don't think it's fucking funny. Like, I don't at all. I don't think it's okay that our world sucks and that we don't take it seriously. I think that's fucking bullshit. Like, I refuse to raise kids that are assholes, honestly. I feel like this world's an asshole. Like, and God, like, this world just sucks. I have, like, trauma from police, too, because of, a couple months ago when I called the cops on my ex, and, I had the whole thing on video. These 2 officers came. Mind you, every other time I called the cops, they did not show up for, like, 45 minutes, and it's not even a lie. And they'd show up, and they'd be like, so what happened? And then I'd show them, like, the marks on me, or I would show them the video, or whatever, like, whatever proof I had to show, and they would just take a report. A lot of them actually didn't take reports. Fucking dicks. But anyways, they would take a report, and be like, alright, well, like, you should break up with them. You know what I'm saying? Well, anyways, so, like, this one time, these 2 cops came in like 5 minutes. I don't even think I hung up with dispatch by the time the cops came, right? And I was like, damn, they fucking showed up fast. And, these cops, fuck these cops. They struck fear into my body. Like, I was never, like, afraid of the cops. You know what I'm saying? And I fucking feel for anybody, you know, like, I feel for the people that are fucking terrified of the cops. Because these cops struck such a fear. Like, a traumatic, like, if a cop gets behind me, I can't even drive. My body goes into complete shock mode, and I either freeze or I shake uncontrollably and, like, start panicking for no fucking, like, it's not like I have drugs on me or guns on me. Like, I'm not doing anything illegal. Like, I swear to you, like, these cops literally struck fear into my body. They treated me like I was a perpetrator. Like, I honestly would have rather had these cops, like, beat the fuck out of me than the way that they, like, screamed at me and told me that I was in the wrong because I recorded it. Like, but, like, the way that they screamed at me, and, like, man. So, like, I'm terrified of cops. I am terrified of them. I thought these cops were gonna fucking kill me in my house. That's how scared they had me. Like, I was that scared of them. I ran upstairs, like, ran away from them, and I had 2 other people there with me and my kids. And Levi was screaming, crying, because Levi was in my lap. But anyways, I ran upstairs with Levi, and I collapsed, and my cousin was up there, and I was like, I couldn't even breathe or talk. They had me fucked up. And my cousin went down there and was like, you guys need to leave my cousin's house now. Like, but anyways, thanks to these fucking cops, I'm scared of them. They are fucking, I don't even know what's wrong with them. First of all, I was never a cop caller. And then when everyone's like, dude, you need to start calling the cops on them. So then I started calling the cops, and the cops never showed up. And if they showed up, they didn't give a fuck. They did not give a fuck. If I was bleeding, if my door was kicked down, if I fucking anything, they did not give a fuck. They didn't give a fuck. And so, like, I just was like, fuck this. Why would I keep calling the fucking cops for them not to give a fuck, right? And fucking, so, like, I really call the cops. Like, what the fuck? They didn't do shit for me. And, then, yeah, on that day, those cops, and now I really don't call the cops. Like, fuck that shit. They're insane, dude. Like, fuck that shit. Dude. But yeah, that's just a whole nother story for another time. But yeah. So like trauma, we went over trauma a little bit. This was kind of like a shit show podcast, but excuse me, I needed to put something out there because I haven't done it in a while, and I'm so sorry that I have been away for so long. It's literally being a single mom and then sick, and you know, everything else in my life going on. I just had so much going on, you know what I'm saying? And so I'm glad that I got just to get out on here and, you know, talk a little bit about trauma and mental health. And I'm gonna do episodes on like my own personal mental health and narcissist. My ex is a narcissist and a huge narcissist. I'm gonna talk about that, and I'm gonna talk about how abuse and narcissistic abuse and all of that actually causes brain damage. And so like the next coming episodes is gonna be a lot about just different mental health problems, different you know, ways to cope and shit. And I am here, you guys. I am here. A lot of you guys that see my podcast, you guys follow me on Facebook or Snapchat or Instagram, and I get so many messages, and it's a lot of, some of them just make me cry. I've had some messages where, you know, women have actually left their abusive fucking exes, and God, that makes my heart so fucking happy. That just me talking on my podcast and my Facebook is helping people. You know, I love helping people. And I didn't do this for that reason. I did this because of my situation of being so fucking alone and going through my shit so alone and having nobody. Like I just talked about it on my live earlier, but you know, you don't have anybody, really. You don't, you know? And if you do, that's awesome. But a lot of us don't. And so I want you guys to know that like my Facebook, my Messenger, and my TikTok and my email, all of that is open. I lost my best friend a couple years ago. He committed suicide. And from that moment, I have sworn to all my friends and everybody knows, like, and everybody knows, like, any fucking hour of the day, if you are struggling, please blow me up. Because I would rather fucking sit on the phone or next to you in a fucking blizzard and help you get through a rough patch than I would want to hear about you not making it through your rough patch. And I'm being real. And I'm being honest. I'm not perfect. I'm far from fucking perfect. And I struggle too. But please, guys. And if you don't reach out to me, which is totally fine, please, I'm gonna post the suicide hotline just for safe measures, because we all go through something. We all are struggling with something. We all, you know. And so if you don't reach out to me or somebody that you trust or your whoever, and I'm talking any hour, please. But anyways, I'm gonna post like the number for the suicide awareness, because I really would rather sit there with you through the darkest time of your life than to hear about a death. Okay? I love all of you guys. I love all of you guys. You guys are helping me heal, and like, you guys are really helping me a lot more than you guys know, and I really appreciate it. and I love you guys, and I appreciate you guys, and I'm here for you guys, and I promise you're not alone. I got you. I got you. We're family now. Okay? So I'll see you guys next week. And next week, let's talk about narcissism. That sounds like a fun topic. Okay. Love you guys. Bye.